Okay, hi friends. You back for some more decimal fun? We're going to do today, our big objective today is comparing decimals. So which one's greater than, less than, or equal to. And it's also writing decimals with tenths and hundredths. So learning how to write them in number form with digits and how to compare them when you're looking at them, how to see which one's bigger and which one's smaller. So in these situations that we have here on page 279, we're going to write it representing the distance. And what I want to do is I want to make a little visual for you first. I have ones, and you've seen this visual before, so I know it's not new. This one is what? Tenths. This one's hundredths. So this should help you in your visually writing your numbers. So Aki has traveled 3/10. So I'm going to write 3/10. Is that how I want? Is that the only thing I need for it to be 3/10? No, I need a decimal point, and I want to put a 0 in the ones place to make sure that that decimal point is visualized. And it says Stephen has traveled 5/10. So again, I want that 5 to be in the tenths place with a decimal and a 0 as a placeholder. So if Jose has traveled 25 hundredths of the distance, remember I said always write the number 25 hundredths. So that last number or the last thing that you say needs to be in the place that you need it to be. Decimal point and a placeholder. 25 hundredths. So the same with 18 hundredths. Yazir has traveled 7/10. 7/10. Danielle has traveled 59 hundredths. Leah has traveled 8 hundredths. So here's something that's different. We're going to put an 8 in the hundredths place. Then I need a placeholder in the tenths, a decimal point, and a placeholder. Because I don't have any tenths, but I have 8 hundredths. So 8 hundredths of the distance. And Kuang's son has traveled, again, 6/10. Now, we've had the conversation where a tenth is larger than a hundredth. A tenth, you have to think of our box with our box pizza, okay? Our box pizza with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this right here is 1/10. 1/10. Now remember the other visual we had was the same with the 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But we had 10. Now, if I did that for all of this, this right here, my friends, this little square is 1/100th. Which one's bigger? You're right, 1/10. So when you're reading number 5 with me, you read the first one as 4/10. You read the second one as 4/100ths. Which one's greater? 4/10. So what you're saying there is 4/10. 1, 2, 3, 4, as opposed to 1, 2, 3, 4. 4/100ths. Number 6 is tricky because you're saying 30 hundredths, which would be 30 of these. If I had 10 in each one of these, it would be 30 of these. And 3/10, which is 3 of these, that one is equal. So let's look at 7/10. 7/10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7/10. And 24, so it's going to be 2 of these, 24 hundredths. Which one's more? 7/10. What about 1/10 as opposed to 8/10? Which one's bigger? 8/10. Now, if this is hard for you to visualize, or it's hard for you to be able to draw the picture, or you're not sure how to read it, your tools are here. You have your, look at the number. So you have 61 hundredths. You have, instead of, I'm just going to fill in my chart here to help me read it, 8/10. Well, 8/10 is the same as 80 hundredths. 80 is bigger than 61. Another way that you can do this is if you take your decimals, so I'm looking at number 10, and I write 54 hundredths, and I line up, you have to line up your decimal, 2/10, or you can put your placeholder in here, 20 hundredths. Which one is more? 54 hundredths. So you look at the, you know 54 and you know 20, you know 54 is bigger. So I'm going to do a few more with you, but I want you to finish these and use one of the ways. You either are going to use the place value chart, or you're going to line them up. The place value chart is just to help you say it. So if I do the next one, 11 hundredths, and 15 hundredths. Which one's more? 15 hundredths. If I'm filling in with the next one, you can say 2 hundredths or 2/10. Which one's bigger? Visually, this is 2 hundredths. This, let me get a black pen. This is 2/10. Which one's bigger? 2/10. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to pause, and I want you to do 13 through 24. Do not ask your parents for help. I want you to try this. If you get stuck on one, circle it. We will talk about it in group tomorrow. Okay? So you're going to pause right here and do 13 through 24 on your own, and we will talk about it in class. It can be greater than, less than, or equal to. So now we're going to look at some word problems and see if we can't figure these out. So the Cruz family is enjoying a 10-day vacation, and so far they've been vacationing for 1 week. What decimal number represents the part of their vacation that has passed? So if I'm looking at 10 days, how many days are in a week? 7. So if I were to say how many days have passed, how many, if I were to do it in a fraction for me first. So 7 out of 10 days have passed, right? That's the way I read it. And that would be said as 7/10. And I know 7/10 would be written like that. Now, what decimal represents the part of their vacation that remains? So if I want 10 out of 10, that is what the total vacation is. To get to 10 out of 10, what do I need to add to 7? Oh, that's 3/10. So this is what's gone. This is what's left. So 3/10 of the vacation remains. Jeremy spent 3 quarters and 1 nickel at the school bookstore. What decimal part of a dollar did he spend? Well, we have to do some math here. 3 quarters is 25. 25 25, and 1 nickel is 5. So I know that 3/4 is 75 cents plus 5 equals 80. So if I were to, it says what decimal part of a dollar? Well, he spent 80 cents. What decimal part of a dollar did he not spend? So how do I get from 80 to 100? Or you can say, well, I have a dollar, subtract 80, what do I have left? I think some of you are saying it. It's going to be 20 hundredths. Dana is planning to run 1/10 of a mile every day for 8 days. What is the total distance she will run in 8 days? So she's going to do 1/10 plus 1/10 plus 1/10 plus 1/10. You understand what she's doing here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How much is that going to be at the end of 8 days? 8/10. What is the total distance she will run in 8 days? It's going to be 8/10 of a mile. If Dana runs 1/10 of a mile each day for 2 more days, what will the total distance she runs over the 10 days? Well, if I were to add 2 more tenths to this, 1/10, 1/10 plus 1/10, that equals 2/10, and 2/10 plus 8/10 is 10/10, which is 1 whole, right? 1 whole mile is what she'll run for the whole distance. Now, what we're doing here is we're going to write the word name and the decimal number. I want to see if you can figure these out. Use your tools. If you need to, scroll back or roll back to the other page where I have the place value chart shown, but you write the word form. So on number 31, I would say 1/10. On 33, I would say 9/100ths. So you do 32 and 34. If I was doing 14/100ths, that 4 has to be in the hundredths place. If I was doing 8/10ths, it has to sit in that tenths place. I want you to try 32, 34, 36, and 38. Remember, don't ask your parents. Try it. If you don't get it, circle it. We'll talk about it tomorrow. There is a Google form, so check that out, and I'll see you tomorrow.